Now, because of gravity view, which we're going to see, we can set up to have an entry approved. So it's idle, it's not active yet. When I approve it, I could set this up to be more than one email address, or excuse me, more than one notification. So the first one is, thank you. We will be looking over your application and we'll get back to you. Administration goes in, they look, they approve it. It immediately kicks out this message that you set up in Gravity Forms. Or if they're approved or they're disapproved, they'd get a different message. You'd set up multiple messages there because you can have multiple notifications.
When you do the approval?
That will be in the form itself when we look at the entries. So what I'm going to do first is show you, I have content in there which we'll go and look at, but here's how we can get data out by using a view. And I'll show you that, some things in there. But this is the content that's already was submitted through Gravity Forms. So let's go back over. So this add locations will be done by a person internal in the corporation getting data into their database to populate the locations for their offices. This is allowing the person to, I would have it that they had to be logged in to see this, that they could come in and put in all of their content. Now I can do a view. So when I'm in this, looking at this form, I think, looking at forms, there we go. I'll look at entries here. So this is whether it's, I believe this is the approved. Oh, wait a minute. Entry approved for directory viewing. I never had approve, disapprove rule in displaying locations to show it to you, so everything's going to display. But if you had the rule, don't display unless it's been approved, then you have to come back here and check on these. So this is an entry, and I can edit my entries.
The admin would have to log in and come in here to approve.
Yeah, I should be able to edit. The admin would have to come in and approve it, right? Which wouldn't make sense in this example of locations, not unless somebody's like checking somebody's work. But it would be, could you remind me your name again, please? Your book of dreams? Lillian? Yeah. Lillian. So Lillian's getting a book published about dreams that she's had. And what I suggested to her is she could look at using on her website that she's building, asking people, have you had dreams? Tell us about it. So she could have her form of what the dreams were about, any interesting information she'd want, but they wouldn't be approved to go out to the website because you could end up with a heck of a lot of spam out there. So she might have she might get a message, send herself a message. Somebody has entered a dream that they've had. She's set up the notifications that say, thank you very much for submitting your dream. We'll take a look at it and we'll let you know if we've posted it. And then when she does approve it, then they get the message. I mean, you guys are smart. You can figure out how that would work. So that's what I was suggesting to you. And there's many, many different ways that you get layouts to create a view. Trust me when I say I have edited, and maybe this particular form I didn't turn that on. It might be a different one where you can go in and change. Let's say you typoed Houston. You'll come in here and just fix it instead of having to create another entry. I've connected views. Display locations is the one that we were looking at right here. So let's look at how we would display this location. It is all click. So I can add a field here. These are the fields that were on my form. And all I do is click on one and it adds. Now in this case, I don't want it because I've already added all the fields. Oops. There we go. I can move it around how the display will be. And I can do some, it would not make sense, I don't think, to say location, 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 location every time I displayed it. That's what would happen if I showed the label. Again, I can add custom CSS, make only visitable for a logged in user. If it were a link, open in a new tab or window, and link to single entry. That would be if that would be a good example if you had an executive profile page and you wanted to just give a quick little bio about your executive. But when they clicked on the data, then I would open up a new window, I would open something up that would show their entire full bio. And I would set it up that way with a short bio and a full bio. And depending upon what they had clicked on, gives me the option to do that. That would be the single entry. Whoa. Here's, because this is an address would be a location to be clickable to be a map, I can show map link. Notice we didn't see that in other, like in location, because it knew that wouldn't be an address. So it is pretty smart in that regard. So that is showing the locations. Now something that I did, oh, question?
Yeah, I was just going to ask a quick question. Would this be applicable for membership groups like in different locations, or are there membership apps that I should just stick with?
The question was, would this work for memberships in different locations, or just stick with a membership plugin? I would answer to say it depends on how detailed your membership is, but probably a membership plugin. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't be doing that work here, like a gravity form that then is going to trigger your membership action of who can see what page. You might find that it's a combination. It's been a long time since I used a membership. It's pretty much all in one system. So you probably just want to use that. I threw in a search bar, which you saw. You can actually add many different widgets of information. And you've got a left side and a right side. So you just kind of play with this to see how it would lay out on your page. Subheading, if there was a different additional content that you were going to be using. Afterwards, you wanted to have a title across the top. Again, optional to use all these, but you can see that they've really thought out these different areas. This was the single edit or single entry that I was talking about. So if it was more detailed information about an executive, this you can use images. Hiding empty fields, that became important because I don't have a contact for, like I think they had one place they had 4 different contact people for their sales rep. Most of the time it's just one. That was a nice thing to find and have. I was looking to see if we had the stuff Kathy was asking about in here. No, I didn't have enable inline edit. That's why I could not edit the fields.
CSV access.
Allows you to import, let's say you have a table on one site and you want to bring it into gravity form to display like locations. You could use it for that. So anything that you could get a CSV file out for and then pull it into all of for your entries. Of course, they have to match one for one. Each, needs to match exactly the way it doesn't have to be in the same order, but you have to have a matching field for everything to go into. Maps is not going to be used here. I'm going to show it to you in one place that I did use it. so that gives us this view of locations. Now I want to show you one thing. There was an add-on that was to make something a highlighted, in this case corporate, and then whether you want it to go at the top or not. Let's see where I found that. First of all, if you go into your fields, in the form fields, entries, you set who is your, right there, you star it to be your highlighted location. There was a checkbox. I'd have to go through my notes to find it, but there's a checkbox that you say for your highlighted location, your highlighted row. I want it to be corporate, to change the color, which you could CSS to make it anything you wanted or any way you wanted it. If you wanted to make a star around it, that would all be done in CSS. And then I have corporate headquarters as the first listing. That would be most likely what people would use.